Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of his massive warship, looking out at the small blue planet in the distance. Earth hung in the darkness of space like a tiny marble. The alien commander felt nothing but contempt for the world and its people. Such a weak species, he said to his second-in-command, Officer Krullinos. They cannot even unite their own planet. How can they hope to fight us? Vextar had spent months studying the humans. His ships had been watching Earth from the edge of the solar system, listening to their radio signals and studying their technology. What he saw made him laugh. The humans still used primitive rockets to reach their own moon. They fought wars with metal bullets and crude explosives. Their largest weapons could barely scratch the hull of a Zeltharian scout ship. Sir, our intelligence reports show they have over 200 separate nations, Krullinos reported. They spend more time fighting each other than developing real weapons. The Admiral nodded. This would be easy. Too easy, perhaps. The Zeltharian Empire had conquered 17 star systems, each one falling within days of their arrival. Some species tried to fight back with courage and honor. Others surrendered immediately. But all of them had one thing in common. They were united when the Zeltharians arrived, not the humans. These creatures seemed to enjoy conflict with their own kind. Perfect. Begin the demonstration. Vextar ordered dock deep in the belly of the warship. Technicians prepared the antimatter bomb. It was a beautiful weapon, sleek and deadly. The bomb contained enough power to destroy half a continent. They had used similar devices on the capital cities of a dozen worlds. The message was always the same: surrender or die. Meanwhile, on Earth, General Patricia Blake was having her morning coffee when the alarms began to sound. The North American Space Defense Command headquarters erupted into chaos as red lights flashed throughout the building. What's happening? Blake demanded as she rushed into the command center. Dr. Alan Rodriguez, the facility's chief physicist, looked up from his computer screen with wide eyes. General, we have a problem. A big one. The main screen showed a three-dimensional map of the solar system. A cluster of red dots appeared at the edge, near Pluto's orbit. As Blake watched, one of the dots began moving toward Earth. Those are ships, Rodriguez explained. Alien ships. We've been tracking them for the past 6 hours since they appeared. Blake felt her blood run cold. First contact with alien life should have been humanity's greatest moment. Instead, it looked like it might be their last. How many? She asked. 37 vessels. The largest one is about 3 miles long. But that's not the worst part. Rodriguez pointed to a smaller dot moving faster than the others. They've launched something at us. Based on its speed and trajectory, it will reach Earth in 72 hours. Captain Lisa Hayes, the base's military engineer, stepped forward. General, we're receiving a transmission. It's in English. The main screen flickered, and suddenly they were looking at an alien face. Vextar's features were sharp and angular, with 4 eyes and skin that looked like polished stone. When he spoke, his voice was cold and mechanical. People of Earth. The alien said, I am Admiral Vextar of the Zeltharian Empire. Your world has been selected for integration into our domain. You have witnessed our power. In 3 of your days, our weapon will reach your planet. If you surrender now, we will allow your leaders to live as servants. If you resist, we will turn your world into dust. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Commander Jake Mitchell, who ran space operations, was the first to speak. General, what are our options? Blake looked around the room at her team. These were some of the brightest minds in human military and science. If anyone could find a solution, it would be them. Can we shoot it down? She asked. Hayes shook her head. The object is too fast and too far away. Our best missiles can't reach it in time. What about evacuating the impact area? Mitchell suggested. Rodriguez pulled up his calculations. Based on the energy readings, this weapon could level everything within a 1,000-mile radius. We're talking about the destruction of entire countries. Blake felt the weight of the moment. Humanity had faced many challenges throughout history. Wars, plagues, natural disasters. But they had never faced extinction from the stars. "Get me the president," she ordered, "and contact every space agency on Earth. If we're going to fight this, we need everyone working together." As her team rushed to carry out her orders, Blake stared at the screen showing the approaching weapon. The aliens thought humans were weak and divided. They had studied Earth's wars and conflicts and believed they understood humanity. But they had made one crucial mistake. They had never seen what humans could do when they worked together against a common threat. Throughout history, when faced with extinction, humanity had always found a way to survive. The next 72 hours would determine whether that tradition would continue around the world. The news of the alien ultimatum spread like wildfire. In every major city, people gathered in the streets, looking up at the sky. Some prayed, others wept, but many simply waited to see what their leaders would do. In secret military facilities across the globe, scientists and engineers began working on solutions. The weapon was unlike anything they had ever faced, but they had something the aliens didn't expect: the desperate creativity of a species fighting for its life. The countdown had begun. Dr. Alan Rodriguez had not slept in 36 hours. His eyes burned as he stared at the computer screen, trying to understand the alien weapon racing toward Earth. Coffee cups and empty food containers covered his desk, but he barely noticed them. "The energy readings are off the charts," he muttered to himself. "This thing makes our nuclear weapons look like firecrackers." General Blake walked into the lab, her face showing the strain of the past day and a half. "Doctor, please tell me you have good news." Rodriguez rubbed his tired eyes. "I wish I did, General." The weapon contains some kind of antimatter core. When it hits Earth, it will create an explosion bigger than anything we've ever seen. The blast will be visible from space. How much time do we have left? 35 hours and counting. Blake looked at the data on Rodriguez's screen. The numbers meant nothing to her, but she could see the fear in the scientist's eyes. "What about interception? Can we stop it before it reaches us?" Captain Lisa Hayes entered the lab, carrying a tablet. "Computer. General, I've been working on that problem. The weapon is moving too fast for conventional missiles. By the time we launch something, it will already be past our outer defense grid." "So we're helpless?" Blake asked. Hayes shook her head. "Not helpless, but we need to think differently. Instead of trying to destroy the weapon, what if we captured it?" Rodriguez looked up from his screen. "Captured it? Lisa, that thing is moving at incredible speed. How do you capture something like that?" "With the Pioneer 7, Hayes replied. Blake frowned. "The deep space probe? The one we launched last year?" "That's the one. It's currently about 2 million miles from Earth, running system checks. The probe has a magnetic containment field designed for collecting space debris. If we modify it correctly, we might be able to catch the alien weapon." Rodriguez stood up so quickly his chair rolled backward. "You want to catch an antimatter bomb with a space probe? Lisa, that's insane. One mistake and the weapon explodes anyway. It's better than letting it hit Earth," Hayes shot back. "At least this way, we have a chance." Commander Jake Mitchell walked into the lab, his face grim. "General, I've been monitoring. The alien fleet, they're not moving closer. They're just sitting there, watching. It's like they're waiting for a show." Blake felt anger building in her chest. To the aliens, humanity's destruction was entertainment. They probably had bets on which continent would be hit first. "Tell me more about this capture plan," she said to Hayes. Hayes activated her tablet, showing a three-dimensional diagram of the solar system. Pioneer 7 is here, she said, pointing to a small dot. The weapon is here, moving along this trajectory. If we can reprogram the probe and boost its power, we might be able to intercept the weapon at this point. She indicated a spot roughly, halfway between the probe and Earth. The timing has to be perfect, Hayes continued. We get one chance. If we miss, the weapon continues to Earth. If we miscalculate the containment field, the weapon explodes and takes out the probe. What are the odds of success? Blake asked. Rodriguez ran some quick calculations. Based on the probe's current capabilities, maybe 20%. But if we can modify the containment field and boost the power systems. He paused, thinking, maybe 50%. 50% isn't good enough, Blake said. We need better odds. General, Mitchell said quietly, 50% is better than 0. And that's what we have if we do nothing. Blake looked around the room at her team. These people had worked miracles before, but this was different. They were asking to catch a weapon that could destroy civilization itself. How long do we need to make the modifications? She asked. 18 hours minimum, Hayes replied. We need to completely reprogram the probe systems and reroute power from non-essential functions to the containment field. That leaves us with 17 hours after the modifications are complete, Rodriguez noted. 17 hours to position the probe, calculate the interception point, and hope everything works. Blake made her decision. Do it. Contact Mission Control and tell them we're taking over. Pioneer 7. I want every engineer and programmer we have working on this. And I want constant updates. As her team rushed to begin the modifications, Blake stepped outside the lab and contacted the president. Around the world, other leaders were making desperate preparations. Some countries were evacuating their major cities. Others were building underground shelters. But most were simply waiting to see if the Americans could pull off a miracle dot in the depths of space. Pioneer 7 received new instructions. The small probe, originally designed to study asteroids, suddenly became humanity's last hope. Its systems were pushed beyond their limits as Earth's best engineers worked frantically to give it the power to capture an alien weapon. Modification process was unlike anything the team had attempted before. They had to rewrite the probe's entire operating system while it was millions of miles away, with a communication delay of several minutes. One wrong command could shut down the probe permanently. Dr. Rodriguez worked alongside Hayes to create a new type of containment field. The original design could handle small pieces of space rock. Now they needed it to contain a weapon of unimaginable power. The antimatter core is the key, Rodriguez explained as they worked. If we can contain that, the weapon becomes harmless. But the containment field has to be absolutely perfect. One gap, one fluctuation, and the antimatter touches normal matter. And then? Hayes asked. And then we get a very brief, very bright light. Commander Mitchell coordinated with flight controllers around the world. The interception would require precise timing and navigation. Pioneer 7 would have to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right moment. It's like trying to catch a bullet with a butterfly net. Mitchell muttered as he worked on the calculations dot. As the hours passed, the alien weapon continued its approach. On Earth, people gathered in public squares and houses of worship. Some had given up hope, but others maintained faith in their scientists and engineers. The aliens, watching from their distant ships, saw the frantic activity on Earth. They intercepted some of the communications and learned about the interception plan. Admiral Vextar was amused. They think they can catch our weapon? He said to Officer Krolinos. These humans are more foolish than we thought. Should we be concerned, sir? Krolinos asked. Vextar laughed. Concerned? About a species that still uses chemical rockets. Let them try. When they fail, their despair will be even greater. Back on Earth, the modifications to Pioneer 7 were nearly complete. The probe systems hummed with new power as its containment field was brought online. Everything depended on the next few hours. The countdown continued, and humanity held its breath. Commander Jake Mitchell gripped the controls of his spacecraft as he approached the interception point. Pioneer 7 floated in the distance, its modified systems glowing with new power. The alien weapon would arrive in less than 6 hours. Pioneer 7, this is Commander Mitchell. All systems ready for intercept sequence. The voice of Dr. Rodriguez crackled through the radio from Earth. Jake, remember the timing has to be perfect. The weapon will only be in range for 3 seconds. If the containment field doesn't activate at exactly the right moment, we miss our only chance. Mitchell checked his instruments one more time. Everything depended on the next few hours. Behind him, Earth looked small and fragile against the black of space. He thought about his wife and daughter back home, probably watching the news and praying for a miracle. I understand, Doctor. We'll make it work. The interception plan was simple in theory, but nearly impossible in practice. Pioneer 7 would extend its containment field at the exact moment the alien weapon passed through its position. The field would have to be strong enough to capture the weapon, but not so strong that it caused the antimatter to explode on Earth. General Blake watched the operation from the command center. Every screen showed different aspects of the mission. Pioneer 7's position, a weapon's approach, system readings, and communication logs. The tension in the room was so thick she could almost touch it. Weapon is now 4 hours out, Captain. Hayes reported. All systems on Pioneer 7 are functioning normally. Blake nodded, but her mind was already thinking beyond the interception. Even if they succeeded in capturing the weapon, what then? They would have an alien antimatter bomb in their possession, but no way to safely dispose of it. Dr. Rodriguez, she said into her headset, assuming we successfully capture the weapon, what's our next move? Rodriguez's voice came back immediately. We bring it back to Earth, General, to the Nevada facility. We're going to study it. Blake raised an eyebrow. Study it? Doctor, that thing could level half the country if something goes wrong. General, this is the first alien technology we've ever encountered. We can't just throw it away. We need to understand how it works, how they built it, and most importantly, how to defend against it. Blake understood the logic, but the risk was enormous. Still, Rodriguez was right. The aliens had superior technology, and humanity needed every advantage they could get. Weapon is now 3 hours out, Hayes announced. Mitchell adjusted his spacecraft's position, staying close to Pioneer 7. If the interception failed, his job was to collect as much data as possible before the weapon continued toward Earth. Pioneer 7, beginning final system checks, he reported that the probe's modified systems came online one by one. The containment field generators hummed with power, drawing energy from every available source. The original scientific instruments had been shut down to provide more power for the interception. All systems green, Mitchell confirmed. Containment field is stable and ready. On Earth, the Nevada facility was already preparing to receive the alien weapon. Dr. Maria Santos, the military's best explosives expert, was setting up a secure laboratory. Dr. Kevin Park, a quantum mechanics specialist, was installing analysis equipment. Lieutenant Colonel Amy Foster was coordinating security for what might be the most dangerous object on Earth. If we're really going to study this thing, Santos said to Park, we need to understand what we're dealing with. Antimatter isn't something you can just poke with a stick. Park nodded. The containment system will be crucial. If the aliens can contain antimatter, we can learn from their methods. But we need to be extremely careful. Foster checked her security protocols one more time. The facility will be on complete lockdown. No one gets in or out without my authorization. And if something goes wrong, ... She didn't finish the sentence. Everyone knew what would happen if the weapon exploded. Weapon is now 2 hours out. Hayes announced from the command center. Mitchell could see the alien weapon now, a small bright dot against the stars. It was moving faster than anything human technology had ever achieved. The aliens had mastered physics that humanity was only beginning to understand. Pioneer 7, beginning final approach sequence. He reported. The probe moved into position along the weapon's trajectory. The containment field generators reached full power, creating an invisible cage in space. Everything had to work perfectly. Weapon is now 1 hour out, Hayes announced. General Blake felt her heart pounding. Around the world, billions of people were watching the news, waiting to see if humanity could pull off the impossible. The aliens were watching too, probably, laughing at human foolishness. Pioneer 7, all systems optimal, Mitchell reported, beginning final countdown sequence. The minutes ticked by with agonizing slowness. The alien weapon grew brighter as it approached, its antimatter core radiating energy that Pioneer 7's sensors could barely measure. Weapon is now 30 minutes out, Hayes announced. Rodriguez's voice crackled through the radio. Jake, remember the field has to activate at exactly the right moment. Too early, and the weapon passes through. Too late, and it's already gone. I understand, Doctor. We've practiced this 100 times. But practicing in simulations was different. From facing the real thing. The weapon approaching them contained enough power to destroy civilization. One mistake would mean the end of everything. Weapon is now 10 minutes out, Hayes announced. Mitchell's hands were steady on the controls, but he could feel sweat on his forehead. Pioneer 7 was ready. The containment field was at full power. All they needed now was perfect timing. 5 minutes out, Hayes announced. The alien weapon was clearly visible now, a bright streak against the darkness. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time, a testament to alien engineering and the threat it represented. 1 minute out, Hayes announced. Mitchell held his breath. Everything humanity had worked for came down to the next few seconds. The containment field was ready. The timing was calculated. Now they just had to execute. 30 seconds, Hayes announced. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 5.4.3.2.1 field activation. Now, Mitchell triggered the containment field at the exact moment the alien weapon passed through Pioneer 7's position. For a brief instant, space itself seemed to bend around the weapon as the invisible cage tried to capture it. The weapon slowed, caught in the fields. Grip. Energy readings spiked as the antimatter core fought against its containment. For a moment, it looked like the field might fail. Then, suddenly, the weapon stopped. Pioneer 7's containment field had captured an alien antimatter bomb. Capture successful. Mitchell shouted into his radio. The weapon is contained. Back on Earth, the command center erupted in cheers. They had done the impossible. They had caught an alien weapon designed to destroy their world. But General Blake knew this was only the beginning. Now they had to bring the weapon back to Earth and unlock its secrets. The real work was just starting. 3 weeks after the successful capture of the alien weapon, the Nevada facility buzzed with activity. Dr. Maria Santos stood in the secure laboratory, looking at the most dangerous object on Earth through 3 feet of reinforced glass. Alien bomb was smaller than she had expected, about the size of a refrigerator. Its surface was smooth and dark, covered with strange symbols that seemed to shift and change when she wasn't looking directly at them. The antimatter core pulsed with a soft blue light, contained within the alien's own magnetic field systems. Amazing, she whispered to herself. They've managed to create a stable antimatter containment system that's actually portable. Dr. Kevin Park joined her at the observation window. The quantum mechanics are unlike anything we've seen before. The containment field operates on principles we're only beginning to understand. But that's not the most interesting part, Santos replied. Look at these efficiency readings. The aliens are wasting enormous amounts of energy. Their containment system works, but it's like using a hammer to crack an egg. Park nodded. I noticed that too. They rely on brute force instead of elegant engineering. It's functional, but not optimized. Lieutenant Colonel Amy Foster entered the lab, carrying a tablet with the latest analysis reports. The intelligence team has finished their assessment. The weapon's design is at least 200 years behind what we could achieve with the same technology. Santos looked surprised. What do you mean? The aliens have better materials and more advanced power. Sources, Foster explained. But their engineering is crude. They build things to work, not to work well. Park pulled up a holographic display showing the weapon's internal structure. Look at this antimatter containment system. It uses 50 times more energy than it needs. 2. And the trigger mechanism is so simple, it's almost primitive. Santos began to smile. You know what this means? We can improve it. Improve it? Foster asked. Maria, we're talking about a weapon that can destroy half a continent. Why would? We want to make it more powerful? Because, Santos said, her eyes gleaming with excitement, the aliens think they're dealing with a primitive species. They expect us to cower in fear or surrender. They don't expect us to send their weapon back to them. In the command center, General Blake was having a similar conversation with Dr. Rodriguez. The physicist had been studying the alien technology for weeks, and his findings were remarkable. General, this weapon represents a quantum leap in our understanding of antimatter physics, Rodriguez explained. But the aliens' approach is incredibly wasteful. With our manufacturing techniques and computer systems, we could build something far more efficient. More efficient how? Blake asked. Smaller, faster, more powerful. The alien weapon is like a cannon from the 1800s. It works, but it's not sophisticated. We could turn it into a precision instrument. Blake leaned back in her chair. Doctor, are you suggesting we modify an alien weapon of mass destruction? I'm suggesting we perfect it, Rodriguez replied. And then we return it to its owners. The idea was audacious, even by human standards. Instead of simply defending against the alien threat, they would turn it into an opportunity to demonstrate human ingenuity. How long would it take? Blake asked. With the right team? Maybe 2 weeks. Dr. Santos can handle the explosive components. Dr. Park can optimize the quantum systems. I can work on the power source. And Lieutenant Colonel Foster can design a new delivery system. Blake thought about the alien fleet still sitting at the edge of the solar system. They were probably wondering why Earth hadn't surrendered yet. They had no idea that humans were busy improving their weapon. Do it, she said, but I want multiple safety systems. If something goes wrong, I don't want to lose Nevada. Over thee. Next 2 weeks, the team worked around the clock. Santos redesigned the antimatter containment system, reducing its size by half while tripling its stability. Park created a quantum compression matrix that increased the weapon's yield without adding weight. Rodriguez developed a new power source that was both smaller and more reliable than the alien original. Foster's contribution was the most important. She designed a completely new delivery system. The aliens used a simple projectile, she explained to the team. Crude but effective. We're going to do something different. She activated a holographic display showing her design. This is Mercury's gift, our new stealth delivery drone. It's equipped with faster-than-light capabilities, advanced AI navigation, and sensor systems that can penetrate any known shielding. Santos whistled appreciatively. It's beautiful and deadly. The AI is programmed with tactical data from every human military engagement in history, Foster continued. It can adapt to changing conditions and make decisions in real time. Aliens won't know what hit them. Dr. Park studied the design specifications. The quantum drive system is revolutionary. We've managed to miniaturize faster-than-light travel into a package the size of a car. How did we do it? Rodriguez asked. I'm not thinking like the aliens, Park replied. They build big, powerful systems that overwhelm problems through brute force. We build smart, efficient systems that solve problems through clever engineering. The final phase of the project was the most dangerous. The team had to remove the antimatter core from the alien weapon and install it in their new device. One mistake could vaporize the entire facility. Santos worked with steady hands, her years of experience with explosives serving her well. The antimatter is stable, she reported as she carefully transferred the core. Containment field is holding at optimal levels. Power systems are online, Rodriguez confirmed. The new energy source is providing 300% more efficiency than the original design. Navigation systems are active, Foster reported. Mercury's gift is ready for deployment. Park monitored the quantum compression matrix. All systems are functioning within normal parameters. The weapon is ready. General Blake watched the final assembly through the observation window. What they had created was both beautiful and terrifying. The enhanced weapon was sleek and elegant. A perfect marriage of alien technology and human innovation. It's remarkable, she said quietly. We've turned their weapon into something they couldn't have imagined. Commander Mitchell, who had been promoted to lead the delivery mission, examined Mercury's gift with professional interest. The stealth systems are incredible. Even our own sensors can barely detect it. That's the point, Foster replied. The aliens will never see it coming. Blake made her final decision. Load the weapon. We're going to send the aliens a message they'll never forget. As Mercury's gift was prepared for launch, the team reflected on what they had accomplished. In less than a month, they had captured an alien weapon, reverse-engineered its technology, and improved it beyond recognition. The aliens sent us a bomb, Santos said with satisfaction. We're sending it back enhanced. The weapon that would soon travel to the alien fleet was no longer just a tool of destruction. It was a demonstration of human ingenuity, a proof that humanity could not only survive alien aggression, but excel in the face of it. The countdown to launch began, and the aliens were about to learn that underestimating humanity was a fatal mistake. Commander Jake Mitchell sat in the cockpit of his escort ship, watching Mercury's gift prepare for its journey to the alien fleet. The stealth drone was almost invisible against the black of space, its surface absorbing light and radar waves like a shadow given form. Mercury's gift, this is command. General Blake's voice crackled through the radio. You are cleared for launch. Good hunting. Mitchell activated his communication system. Mercury's gift AI. This is Commander Mitchell. Beginning escort mission. A calm, synthetic voice responded. Acknowledged, Commander. All systems are optimal. Estimated time to target, 14 hours. The drone's engines came to life with a soft blue glow. Unlike the crude propulsion systems the aliens used, Mercury's gift moved with elegant precision. Within moments, it had disappeared into faster-than-light travel, leaving Mitchell to follow in his conventional spacecraft. Admiral Vextar was growing impatient. 3 weeks had passed since his weapon should have destroyed Earth's major cities. His fleet continued to monitor human communications, expecting to hear surrender announcements or cries for mercy. Instead, they heard nothing. Sir, Officer Krelinos reported, our sensors show no impact signatures from our weapon. There's no evidence of destruction on Earth. Vextar's four eyes narrowed. Impossible. The weapon was functioning perfectly when we launched it. Perhaps it malfunctioned, sir. These are untested systems. Our weapons don't malfunction, Vextar snapped. Contact the surface. I want to know what happened to our demonstration. What the aliens didn't know was that Mercury's gift was already among them. The stealth drone had penetrated their formation without triggering a single alarm. Its eye system studied the alien ships, looking for weaknesses and calculating the optimal attack position. The drone's artificial intelligence was a marvel of human engineering. It contained the tactical knowledge of every great military mind. In human history, from Sun Tzu to modern strategists. But more importantly, it had been programmed with something uniquely human, the ability to adapt and innovate. As Mercury's gift moved through the alien fleet, its AI made a crucial decision. The original plan had been to target the flagship, but the AI recognized a better opportunity. Instead of destroying just one ship, it could position itself to create a cascade effect that would turn the aliens' own weapons against them. On Earth, Dr. Rodriguez monitored the mission from the command center. The drone is approaching the target zone, he reported to General Blake. All systems are functioning normally. Any response from the alien fleet? Blake asked. Nothing. They have no idea what's coming. Blake felt a mixture of anticipation and dread. In a few minutes, humanity would demonstrate to the galaxy that they were not to be underestimated. The aliens had made the mistake of thinking humans were primitive and weak. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Mercury's gift reached the calculated position at the exact center of the alien formation. The AI performed one final systems check and began the arming sequence. The enhanced antimatter weapon came online, its power levels far exceeding the original alien design. Weapon-armed, the AI reported to Commander Mitchell. Beginning final countdown. Mitchell watched his instruments as the stealth drone prepared to deliver humanity's response to the alien ultimatum. All systems green, Mercury's gift. You are cleared for detonation. The AI's voice was calm and precise. Acknowledged, Commander. Initiating enhanced antimatter cascade in 3.2.1. The explosion was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The enhanced weapon didn't just detonate, it created a controlled cascade reaction that spread through the alien fleet. Like wildfire, each ship's own weapon systems became part of the chain reaction, amplifying the destruction. Admiral Vextar had just enough time to realize what was happening before his flagship disintegrated. The humans hadn't just survived. His weapon, they had improved it and sent it back with interest. The entire Zeltharian fleet was destroyed in seconds. Where 37 warships had floated moments before, there was now only expanding debris and fading energy signatures. Commander Mitchell watched the destruction through his ship's sensors. Command, this is Mitchell. Mission accomplished. The alien fleet has been completely destroyed. Back on Earth, the command center erupted in celebration. They had done more than survive the alien threat. They had eliminated it entirely. Sir, Officer Krelinos gasped from his emergency pod, one of the few survivors of the devastating attack. The humans, they used our own weapon against us. Admiral Vextar floated in the wreckage of his fleet, his uniform torn and his pride shattered. How is this possible? They're supposed to be primitive. Sir, our intelligence was wrong. The humans didn't just capture our weapon. They improved it. The explosion pattern suggests they increased its power by at least 300%. Vextar realized the horrible truth. The Zeltharian Empire had underestimated humanity in every possible way. They had assumed that a divided, warring species would be easy to conquer. Instead, they had found a race of beings who could take alien technology and make it better. News of the fleet's destruction spread through the Zeltharian Empire like a plague. The Invincible Armada that had conquered 17 star systems had been destroyed by a single weapon built by the species they had tried to intimidate. On Earth, General Blake addressed the United Nations. The successful defense had unified humanity in ways that centuries of diplomacy had failed to achieve. Former enemies now worked together, recognizing that their greatest strength lay in their ability to cooperate and innovate. The aliens made a fundamental mistake, Blake told the assembled world leaders. They assumed we would react with fear. Instead, we responded with curiosity, ingenuity, and determination. We didn't just survive their attack, we turned it into an opportunity to demonstrate what humanity can achieve when we work together. Dr. Rodriguez and his team continued their work, but with a new sense of purpose. The alien technology had opened doors to advances in energy production, space travel, and defensive systems that would revolutionize human civilization. We've learned something important, Rodriguez explained to his colleagues. Advanced technology doesn't automatically mean advanced thinking. The aliens had better materials and more powerful energy sources, but they lacked the one thing that makes humanity special: our ability to look at any problem and find a better way to solve it. Dr. Santos nodded in agreement. They sent us a weapon designed to destroy us. We turned it into a tool that saved us and demonstrated our capabilities to the entire galaxy. Lieutenant Colonel Foster was already working on humanity's next steps. The destruction of their fleet will send a message throughout the galaxy, but we need to be prepared for what comes next. What do you mean? Blake asked. The Zeltharian Empire won't just give up. They'll either send a larger fleet or try a different approach. We need to be ready. Dr. Park had been thinking about the same problem. The good news is that we now understand their technology better than they understand ours. We can build defenses they can't imagine and weapons they can't counter. 3 months later, a transmission reached Earth from the Zeltharian High Council. It wasn't another ultimatum or threat of destruction. Instead, it was something the aliens had never sent to any species before: a request for diplomatic contact. Blake stood in the communication center as the alien message played on the main screen. The High Council representative looked similar to Admiral Vexstar, but older and bearing ceremonial markings that indicated high rank. "People of Earth," the alien said, "I am High Counselor Zeethmar of the Zeltharian Empire. We acknowledge that our previous approach to your world was ... inappropriate. Your response has demonstrated capabilities we did not anticipate. We wish to establish formal diplomatic relations and discuss terms for peaceful coexistence." The message was careful and respectful, a dramatic change from the arrogant ultimatum they had received months earlier. Blake turned to her advisors. Opinions? Commander Mitchell, now promoted to head of Earth's new Space Defense Force, spoke. "First, they're scared. We destroyed their most powerful fleet with a single weapon. They don't want to find out what else we can do." Dr. Rodriguez agreed. The scientific data we could gain from peaceful contact would be invaluable. But we need to approach this from a position of strength. They respect strength, Blake mused. They tried to intimidate us, and we responded by demonstrating superior capabilities. Now they want to talk instead of fight. The decision to engage in diplomacy wasn't taken lightly. Humanity had proven it could defend itself, but the galaxy was vast and full of unknown threats. Better to have the Zeltharians as cautious allies and determined enemies. Commander Mitchell was chosen to lead humanity's first diplomatic mission to alien space. As he prepared for departure aboard the newly constructed starship New Horizon, he reflected on how much had changed since the aliens first threatened Earth. 6 months ago, we didn't even know aliens existed, he said to Dr. Rodriguez, who would accompany the mission as Chief Science Officer. Now we're traveling to their home worlds as equals. More than equals, Rodriguez replied. We've proven that humanity doesn't just survive challenges. We excel at overcoming them. The aliens learned that lesson the hard way as the New Horizon departed Earth, carrying humanity's rep.